Can you put is it okay if we put my topic like third, like after your guys' topics? Or
Sure. Yeah, because I'm actually not, and I'll explain why, but I'm not going to do my topic.
oh,
But we can do Kurt's first. So what I'm going to do is, and you guys can do it if you want to, but you don't have to. There's that, that Danny Rocket guy.
mhm.
Um, he lives up by Wrigley, and so he's like knows what's going on with the renovations and everything.
Yeah.
So like probably Thursday night, I'm gonna do an interview with him, and then put that up on Sunday,
Okay.
and then we can take the following week off. So then you guys will get 2 Sundays in a row off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then
Oh. Talking about the Cubs, I don't want a weekend off.
Yeah, I mean that sucks.
but then like I was thinking, so then like my topic tonight of the renovations, I'll just hold off on that and do it later. Do it with him.
Cool.
You mean don't call it renovations, it's Project 1060.
Yes.
I know. Sounds like a X-Files episode.
Is it Project 1060 or 1060 Project?
I've seen it. I've seen it in both orders.
Right now, it's 1060 Project.
But Andy, if you need a few seconds, we can kind of.
I do kind of. It's freaking bullcrap.
So for the viewers, Andy. Let's just leave it at that, Andy.
No, Andy.
We can, Andy, Kurt, you and I can keep talking college football.
We could.
I think I said my piece though.
Yeah, I think it's the only game I watched. So other than I watched the Iowa game, but you guys don't care about that.
I watched some of the Iowa game. I watched some of the UNI game. What else did I watch? Watched some of the Alabama game. Holy shit!
I try not to watch SEC football unless it's
okay. I wanted to.
to.
Well, I mean, they played so bad. They lost a game. They played bad last week last week I think against Arkansas. Only won by a point. So I was like, well, I want to see, what's up with this team. They were playing Texas A&M. They're like ranked number 21.
Mm-hmm.
I turned it over at the end of this first half, and it was 45-0.
They scored 35 in one quarter.
It was just a beat down.
Yeah.
Which I love. I mean, like, I don't like Texas A&M either, so I was like, I don't like Alabama, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Kurt, you and I can do our sound checks.
Checkity check.
Fudge,
man. Andy's technology. Oh, good. I'm getting ads for things I've already purchased.
Did you find the league stats, Andy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, don't go into too much detail. Just.
Yeah, I won't. There's just a couple other things I wanted to find, but it's all right.
So the Big Ten killed their whole legends and leaders thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
it's
it's
just East and
West.
West now.
That was a short-lived experiment.
Yeah, nobody really liked it from the beginning, so I think they were pretty eager to change it, I guess.
Man, that conference has to figure their shit out. They got to find some way. Like, they seriously need Ohio. They need one team to be in the picture, you know. Well, or
Well,
Michigan State, I guess. I mean, if
maybe
they,
Michigan State, Ohio State. It's
but
not
you know
going to
what?
be
They don't
Minnesota.
need Michigan. They need Michigan or Nebraska. They need Ohio State and Michigan or Ohio State and Nebraska. They need the big schools. And I mean, I just
Yeah.
don't think Michigan State has like the reputation to. I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
why,
know.
why should it matter like which team is good?
Well, I'm just saying because it does matter to ESPN. You know what I mean? If
Mhm.
Nebraska is good, then it's going to be like, oh, return to the glory and all that kind of stuff. If like freaking Rutgers is good, like, oh, how long is this going to last? You
I
know?
still don't consider Rutgers a Big
I
Ten
know.
team. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It just-
Maryland's tearing it up. Like I just don't think those teams are going to like. You know, I think Indiana having a good running back, it doesn't do anything. You know, they've got to have Michigan, Ohio State, or Nebraska. You know, they got to have those one of those big schools or two or three, and then they got to show up on in the bowls. You know,
Well, how many undefeated teams are there even left? Like Florida State,
the two
Mar-
Mississippis.
Marshall.
Lost,
They did?
didn't they? I think Marshall lost.
No.
Oh, well, who gives a hell? It's Marshall.
Oh yeah.
But I mean the two Mississippi schools, but they got to play each other yet, and Ole Miss goes in. I think they play Alabama this upcoming week, so one of the, I think both those teams will have a loss. So I think
So-
Florida State's going to be the only undefeated team.
I mean, there's no reason then that Ohio State and yeah, I mean it's probably gonna. I don't know. Michigan State and Ohio State are in the same conference, but are the same division.
Well, and not only that, but the rest of the Big Ten is so lackluster. It doesn't help their strength of schedule or anything like and you don't have any like signature wins really. I don't know.
The Big Ten West is pretty weak. Really weak.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Anyway,
I don't know. As a fan of the Big Ten, I'm just kind of like resigned to watching Big Ten and then not worrying about the postseason.
Right.
They don't. I mean, it's just so different.
It's too bad that conference is becoming that though.
But that conference doesn't. I mean, that game, their style, whatever you want to call the Big Ten style, it just doesn't play on that.
I don't buy that though. I
I
mean,
don't know.
look at Alabama. They don't run a spread offense. They don't run an Oregon speed offense or anything.
But you
run
can
it.
recruit the Alabama. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're struggling recruiting, I think.
Right. I think that's what it is. I think every school north of the Mason-Dixon line has trouble recruiting.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna have a muscle flex this week. I'm not gonna look for it now.
No, it's fine. There wasn't very much out there, I didn't think.
Plus, I haven't had time to look at
Wow.
any of the any of the
I
questions.
think you'll be fine on those questions.
Yeah.
Winging it.
What time did you get in, Andy?
Yeah, we got home like about 6.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to do anything about the podcast until 8.
Yeah.
Mac was being a jerk in there to Beth too. So while I'm trying to figure out the computer crap. I'm sorry, I'm pretty surly right now.
It's alright. Just keep laughing. It probably won't help.
Okay, I'm ready, and it's not gonna get any better.
If this was the episode, I think I'm pretty surly right now would be the great episode title.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
So are we going to start with the season ticket thing?
Oh yeah, I
want
better make sure. I better make sure I get this thing.
Yeah, I was
Well,
thinking.
is that the way you want it, Andy?
The order, you mean?
Yeah, you want him to go first?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
fine. All right. All right, here we go. The Arizona Fall League kicks off, and on this episode, we check in on the Cubs prospects that are playing for the Mesa Solar Sox. The Cubs hold a season ticket holders meeting, and we'll discuss some of the comments made by the front office at that event. We'll answer listener questions and read some internet muscle flexes. All of these things and more on this episode. It is October 19th, 2014, and you're listening to the 278th episode of the IVMV podcast. Hi, and thanks for downloading this week's episode of the IVMV podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Corey, and I'm joined by the other two hosts of this podcast through Andy's favorite online tool, Google Plus Hangout.
Hey, it's Andy, and Google Plus can get bent.
It is Kurt.
Oh, man. If you didn't listen to our last episode, Michael from Galesburg was on with us, and we looked back at the 2014 Cubs predictions that we made back in March. And Kurt, congrats on winning that contest again. And I decided you're no longer able to act like you are bad at predictions.
No, because I've won 2 out of 3, right? I mean, how many times have you done it? 3?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, but the first year I was so bad, and then I.
Right, but two wins in a row.
Yeah, you could call me a dynasty.
But like I felt like we all did pretty well, and I really think that our predictions, like what we had to predict, I think it was pretty easy this year.
I will say though, what I was impressed with was we all got the season win total within a game.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
And I think the team's going to get a little bit more predictable, too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah. I think we could still do a better job of making them more difficult for 2015. So.
All right. Well,
a mix of difficult and funny and fun.
Right, yeah.
It's good to have goals.
I was thinking, too, I think we need to have more, like, kind of, like, funny predictions, like goofy ones. So.
All right.
We'll forget this by March.
I can't wait to forget this.
But maybe like
that down.
Right. But I was thinking like our listeners kind of remember things about our podcast better than we do. So I'm saying this on the podcast so that in March they can say, "Oh yeah, we need some goofy ones." So, hold on. I'm going to have an edit there. Oh, it was Kurt, it was you.
Oh, the chat thing?
All right.
Yeah, I just sent you that so
we
would
do
that later because that's what we would do.
Oh, I had it written down.
Oh.
Right, I had it written down. Okay, all right, let me get us back on track here.
My chat startled you so much.
It was loud.
Oh.
Okay. All right, here we go. So I don't forget to mention it later, I'm not sure where we'll be with releasing episodes in the next few weeks. I have conferences the next 2 weekends. Guys, I'm doing the Capitol Tour. I'm doing Springfield next weekend, and then Des Moines the weekend after that. So, yeah,
so
hitting all the state capitals. So I'm hoping to be able to hit El Bait Shop when I'm there in Des Moines. That's my goal. I'm there, except it'll be Halloween, so I don't know.
That could be scary.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be anywhere on Halloween. I mean, I would like to be with my kids, but no, I will be at a work conference.
Fun.
So much fun.
It'll be one of those like creepy work conferences, and they're like, "Hey, everybody! Since you're here at this conference on Halloween, let's all have a party." It'll be the most awkward thing ever.
Yeah, work conferences social gatherings at work conferences tend to be awkward.
Unless there's free drinks.
Next thing you know, you're waking up and it's like a scene from the movie The Hangover series.
I'm in Des Moines. I'm on the roof of Principal Park. So anyways, okay, so I looked back at this, so I'm like, okay, so we got to figure out what we're doing with these episodes because we want number 300 to line up when we're at spring training, and so we have a few episodes to spare. It's kind of like having a wad of cash in our pockets, We get a few weeks off, we just don't know where to spend them. And I was looking, okay, so check us out. In the last 52 weeks, we've done 59 episodes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. And as far as I could tell, the last week that we took off was around Christmas. And I think
feels like it.
Yeah. I think I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, yeah, man, that's a great stretch. I don't really want to ruin that. And on the other hand, I'm like, dang, I really want a week off. So I think here's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna have a different type of episode for you next week. Danny Rocket is one of our listeners, and he's offered to come on and talk about the progress with Wrigley renovations and everything. So I think I'll record that during the week and then post it on Sunday. And then the week after that, I think we'll probably take that week off. I'll be returning from an entire week at conferences, and I don't know. I think that might be a good one to take off. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Maybe you could do a special bonus episode, everything you learned at the conferences.
Yeah.
And then you'll release that.
That would be very entertaining.
Well, the week after that, then we'll probably get us past the World Series and all that, and we'll start getting into, potential free agent stuff. So
right.
That'll be good timing.
That's what I was thinking. And unless if something like, not this upcoming week, but the week after, if something big happens, then we'll make we'll make it work, and we'll get one in, and we'll get to take a week off somewhere else. So
right, but if there's a news story about the Cubs stealing hotel soap or something like that, we're not going to record.
Right.
And I'll probably be off a week or maybe more in November, so at least one. Sorry, guys.
Well, priorities, I guess. So so basically what I'm trying to say is if there's a Sunday evening, Monday morning, and one of our episodes is not there waiting for you, then we're fine. Everything's cool. We haven't quit. We just took a week off. Okay, so let's jump into things here. Can we say jump into things when we're almost 8 minutes in? I don't know. Last week, we kind of referenced the season ticket holders meeting that the Cubs hosted, and it's the off season. We don't really have any topics to discuss yet. There hasn't been much action in the free agent market or anything like that, so obviously we're going to talk about this. So I think that there was some interesting stuff to come out of that meeting. So, Kurt, what were some of the highlights?
Well, I think I would say the majority of it was kind of more of the same, but tooting the same horn about, the renovations are underway, which we'll cover in greater detail at a different time. But the second was there is still no TV deal. They kind of hinted at the fact that they might be close. I mean, they need to be close. But he said, Crane Kenny said they're in extra innings. So let's hope they get something done soon, because that money's going to be important to what they do with free agent signings, and that's another thing that Theo kind of hinted at, is that they would be in the market for one or maybe two free agent pitchers. But some of the interesting comments after that was that he said, we know that buying top of the rotation starters in free agency, those who haven't been signings that bring the best return on an investment. And then later when he was talking to the media, he said, yeah, you guys can go ahead and write columns criticizing us for missing out on the big-name free agents. And so he's kind of like, he's laying the groundwork for the fact that they might not land the big names. But maybe some of that's posturing to the rest of the league, like, hey, we're out of this. But, don't be too shocked if it's a good pitcher but not the elite guy that costs too much. And he's kind of started saying things like, we expect to win, and he also continued that line of thought and said that they expect to, or that they he didn't say expect. What did he say? The goal is to win the division, which of course it is, but I think he's kind of saying like we actually might be able to if things go right. So that's kind of the baseball side of things. One other interesting note that when Edwin Jackson was mentioned, there was actually boos, and he'd said that he's got a lot of work to do to find a place on this team. So
well, and I don't remember if it was this event or his press conference, but didn't he actually? I mean, he referred to Edwin Jackson as a mistake.
Yeah, and he said that before, and I think he didn't. I don't know if he used the word mistake, but yeah, he pretty much said, "Yeah, that was hard to watch," or said something like that. Like,
I'm pretty sure he said mistake.
I think in this press conference he didn't say mistake.
Oh yeah,
he said mistake before, but yeah, he's. So I don't know. I think we might have seen the last of Edwin, and we've talked about that in the past too. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm
still holding out hope that Edwin Jackson can. Chris Bosio can work his magic with him over this offseason, and
I don't know. I think he needs to move to the bullpen, whether with the Cubs or somebody else. But
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't. The signing of Edwin Jackson shouldn't scare me when looking at the Cubs buying free agent pitchers. And it doesn't really make me question Theo and the rest of the front office's ability to identify the right guy. It's just what it does is it just makes me nervous knowing that somebody that looks like they can, they're a pretty safe bet can not be at all,
Yeah.
Just the unpredictability of pitching.
Yeah, and I think that they've showed pretty clearly that they're way more comfortable with the less risk involved in offense than they are in pitching. And I think they know they need the pitching, but they think they can get those wins without paying a ridiculous amount of money. And that's kind of the sabermetric formula is you find wins at the best value, and they don't really care what your name is or how much you think you're worth, So
right, yeah.
We'll see what they do. And then of course there's your fair number of ridiculous fan questions and comments. And I think in Carrie Muscat's article, she talked about somebody complained about the way that they're wearing their socks. They need to show more socks. And I think that's a lot of these guys sitting up there and just taking it from the season ticket holders. And then moving on to actually...
I think you're going to take our asinine comments and you're going to like it.
Yep, I think that's what it is.
I think
that these season tickets.
Right. I think that like audience questions are the only thing that is drawing me to Cubs convention. That's the only thing I want to experience. And I'll probably just rely on Twitter for that. But yeah, I believe there was also a comment about somebody. Man, I should have done my research on this. Somebody made the comment about how they took their corporate, like their, I don't know, what's it called? Kind of your corporate whining and dining. They have those tickets. People, right. Well, those people that buy those companies that buy season tickets just for their clients and stuff like that. And some comment about wanting their money back for the Edwin Jackson starts or something.
Oh man. Goodness gracious.
Like stuff like that and just not even care.
Somebody needs to start a Twitter account or a blog of just like collect all of the stupid questions that are asked by fans at different events. These like community meetings that they have. But like those guys from Wrigleyville Nation, they go to all this stuff, man. They need to do like a some sort of Twitter account or some section of their blog that includes that stuff.
It'd be funny if they did it like the Speak Out section of the Onion, where they have people. They have those like stock photos of people with their quotation superimposed over the picture. That would be pretty sweet.
I don't understand how like the front office can keep a straight face too.
Yeah.
They just go straight to the talking points.
Like, oh shit.
Corey just sunk in his chair.
Not the first time.
You can't do physical comedy on a podcast, Corey. I don't know if you know that.
That's happened to me before. Like my leg hits the trigger and I drop to the floor. Oh man.
We needed the sound effect.
Okay.
Like a slide whistle.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Proceed.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Oh,
I-
I think it would be awesome to have like. Can you imagine like if like Lou Pinella or somebody like that had to face those kinds of questions?
Oh man, you wouldn't have patience for it.
No. Or I would be so tempted. Like if that was me up there, I'd be like, okay, hold on, can you say that again? I gotta tweet this out. Say that one more time.
That should be Jason Parks' new job.
Right. Yes. Well, yeah. So there was that. And I don't know. Yeah, I felt like kind of a lot of those topics were things that he addressed, like kind of in his last press conference, and it didn't seem like it was anything that you kind of know what they're going to say about things. You know what they're going to say about free agents, and you know, I think just as fans, this is the first off season that I've looked forward to in a while. Just as far as like knowing that the Cubs will be making some moves, and it's not going to be all pieces that are potentially like flippable within 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll kind of give us a better idea of like the identity of this team going forward too. So
Yeah, and this meeting too is like a lot about making these people feel good about the fact that they spend a ridiculous amount of money on season tickets. So I think it was a lot of like, hey, look at what we're doing for you on the renovations, and you know, TV money's coming, and also, by the way, we should be better. I mean, that's kind of the gist of this meeting. So
right, yeah. I guess the only other thing really that's going on, or one of the main things that's going on with the Cubs right now, is the Arizona Fall League. That started up out there, and there are some notable Cubs prospects participating this year. So, Andy, how are things going out there for the Cubs players?
Yeah, well, the Mesa Solar Sox got off to a slow start in general. They're currently 5-5 and they're on a 4-game winning streak. So it's just lately that they've begun to heat up as a team, and that's reflected in the Cubs prospects, especially the position players. Those guys got off to kind of a slow start. The position players that the Cubs do have in the Arizona Fall League, in case anybody missed that news, they are Dan Vogelbach, Addison Russell, Bijan Rademacher, and Jacob Hanneman. And so all those guys have been kind of struggling, although Vogelbach and Russell have started to, it appears, to turn things around. But we got to talk about all of this with the small sample size song in mind, because none of these guys, well, Russell has the most at bats with 26, so we don't have a lot of at bats to go on yet. But Vogelbach and Russell are starting to show some signs of life. In one of the most recent games, Vogelbach got 2 hits and didn't strike out at all. And then Russell scored a couple runs too. So they're starting to come to life. And then the pitching has been pretty good on the other side of the coin. The pitchers that the Cubs have there are Zach Cates, Gerardo Concepcion, C.J. Edwards, and Ivan Pinheiro. And so those guys have been doing pretty well. Concepcion, he had a pretty good season this season. I was kind of worried that he was basically a bust. I
think you can still stay worried about that, though.
I mean, I think so too. But he actually had a pretty decent season between Kane County and Daytona. But he's been getting hit pretty hard in the Arizona Fall League. He has 5 earned runs and 4 innings pitched. And by the way, none of the pitchers have pitched over 5 innings, so all of their numbers are pretty much worthless too. I mean, they've been pretty sharp, but Concepcion, 3 of his 5 earned runs, though, he gave up on a homer basically the other day. So C.J. Edwards had a good outing in his last outing. He pitched 3 scoreless innings, so he's looking pretty good. And of course, he was a guy that we wanted to keep an eye on because he was injured for quite a while this season. And so not much really to report so far. I guess one other thing worth noting is it does seem like the Cubs are interested in getting Addison Russell some looks at some different positions other than shortstop. He has had an appearance at second base, for example. And so I've kind of got the sense that he would eventually be the guy that would maybe be the shortstop for the big league club. But it seems like the Cubs are kind of embracing the idea of keeping Castro there more and more. I'm just making some inferences here, but it seems like maybe moving positions could be in the cards for Russell. So we'll see on that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea of moving him around and especially with these guys that are so young. Who knows what I mean, obviously you can kind of project what their bodies are going to become. Yeah. But with all of the options that the Cubs have in the infield, I think having players that can play just about anywhere is a good thing. And I don't see a reason to just kind of pigeonhole him at shortstop.
Well, right, and Russell himself has said that with his body type, I mean, he's a little bit on the shorter side, says the guy who's 5'10", but I think he's around 6 foot, something like that. And so he does have the potential to kind of fill out quite a bit and become a guy who's maybe not quite as, doesn't quite have as much range and that type of thing. So he himself has said he really has to stay on top of being, as fit as possible to be able to stick at shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah. So what that goes through, when does that end? Isn't it like November 7th or something like that? I mean, it's a fairly short season out there for the Arizona Fall League. I think it's somewhere around in there. And then so yeah, I haven't seen any games on the MLB Network, but I remember last year there being a couple, and I think they had the championship game. Maybe, yeah, I think they had that, or I don't remember. Anyways, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just maybe, if you're interested in watching it, I'm just saying maybe check your listings for MLB Network or whatever. But I'm not hearing. I feel like we're not hearing quite as much about what's going on out there as we did maybe last year with Chris Bryant being there, and I can't even remember who else was out there. I just remember Chris Bryant, obviously, because he was tearing it up. I think Almora was there last year.
Yeah, because he had been injured for a while last season as well, so they wanted to get him some more work. But you're right. I mean, these players are pretty high profile as well, but yeah, not quite on the same level as Bryant. But there are a number of places you can go on the web if you want to kind of keep track of what's going on and that type of thing. So. The season, by the way, lasts through November 15th.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, Carrie Muscat's blog, she gives regular updates, and there are various other sites I'm sure many of you are already aware of that you can find those updates.
Yeah. All right, well, let's look at some listener questions. Before we do, if you enjoy our podcast, one way that you can help us keep things running is if you shop on Amazon, go through our site to get there. Go to ivmv.com and click on the Amazon link on the right side of the page. Amazon gives us a kickback for referring you, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. And holidays are coming up, so if you do your holiday shopping on Amazon, don't forget to go through our site. So let's go through these questions here. Benjamin says, do you think the Cardinals blew it because they were still rattled from losing 2 of 3 to the Cubs at the end of the season? I would assume. I mean, that's the only explanation I have.
The fact that Nectat was out of a couple games, I mean, that makes it.
Is it Nectat or is it Rattail?
Nectat Rattail.
I saw a Cardinals fan that I know. I saw her today for the first time in a couple weeks, and I didn't say anything to her, and she came over and she thanked me for not rubbing it in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Jordan says, are you guys as annoyed as I am with some people comparing Mike Moustakas' catch to the Bartman play? And I know that there was a Mike Moustakas catch. I didn't see it, and I haven't seen it since. So
I didn't see it either.
Well, all right. Well, let's go to Andy. Let's see what he has. Nothing. He did apparently make a diving catch where he fell over the railing or whatever. But
Oh. I'm pretty much annoyed with anybody saying anything about Bartman. So
Okay.
yeah, it annoys me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so over this friggin' Bartman thing. Can we just uh do we need to rehash that every, October and every time there's a foul ball in the first couple rows?
Yeah, let's get a new documentary about it too. That'd be cool.
Scott says, I wonder if the Cubs ever thought about partnering with the Sox to use the cell next season and shut down Wrigley to maybe speed up the renovation. Scheduling would be tough, but with the Cubs' day games, I'm sure it could be done. I don't think they had any interest in that.
I don't think so either.
And I can understand why. I mean, I don't know. I think the biggest reason for me, and I'm sure this is not, I doubt if this is the reason for the Cubs, is that, let's say the Cubs do make a postseason run, I don't want to see them playing home games anywhere but Wrigley Field.
And I think the other side of it is revenue's still really important, and until they get these other revenue streams, they need A, the ads that will be up next year, and
Right.
B, attendance. And I think attendance at the cell would really suck.
You're right. Yeah.
And so they need that money. So I think that's probably, and to phase the renovations helps you not have to pay for them all at once.
Right. And so, yeah, so what you're saying is that they can take advantage of those new revenue streams immediately where, I mean, I guess they would get a year of that they wouldn't get by going to the cell. And I think that this renovation, and I'm not following the renovation stuff real closely, and hopefully in talking with Danny, we can get a little bit more information. I think that they're going to be able to do the incremental improvements cleanly. You know what I mean? I don't think you're going to go to Wrigley Field and there's going to be I don't know, construction signs everywhere and what's that, plastic sheeting stuff hanging and stuff I don't know. I don't think it's going to during the season, I don't think it's going to feel like Wrigley's under construction.
There's going to be signs that say "Pardon our dust."
Yeah, like you
Like
visit
that.
the website. Pardon our dust.
Oh, I hope there is. So I don't know. I just think, yeah, ideally they would probably like this thing to be done in a year, but I don't think they want to have anything to do with the cell.
But I was just patrolling the wrigleyfield.com site and looking at all the renderings that they have up now, and I have to admit it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So-
I can't wait to see the finished product. Jason from New Mexico says, "Is there a worse World Series matchup for Cardinals fans?" I think if it involved the Cubs, it'd be worse for them,
Yeah.
or the Reds.
Teams made the playoffs this year. Probably no.
I think
But right,
it's-
so the Royals, being a Missouri team, and then also didn't they lose to the Royals in the 84 World
85.
Series, 85 World Series? So
on
yeah,
a questionable call too, and yeah.
yeah, so that. I'm sure they don't have a lot of fond memories associated with the Royals.
I would assume they were kind of looking forward to a rematch there. So, not
Too
happening.
bad. Yeah, too bad.
Ricky says, as of right now, how do you see the 2015 starting rotation? And it's kind of hard to answer because you assume there's, like Theo has said, there's going to be one, maybe two free agent signings, and that kind of throws things off a little bit. But I mean, let's say there's going to be two. There's still I think Travis Wood's still going to be there.
Yeah. I think it's going to be free agent, maybe Lester, Arrieta, Hendricks, Wood, and Jackson.
You think Jackson's going to be there, huh?
I do. I think I think it's a short leash type of scenario, but I think he'll get a chance.
Yeah.
I hope Jackson's gone, but I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
because nobody wants him. But yeah, there's just so many guys that play for those 4 and 5 spots that if somebody has a break, a really good spring training, they could steal it. Like you got your Jacob Turner and drawing a blank, Dubront perhaps, like a guy like that
Beeler.
Beeler, Hendricks.
I love the
slide in.
idea of Turner, the Cubs giving Turner a serious look. I mean, I think that guy still has the chance to be really good.
Yeah, he could be a Arrieta-like conversion, I hope.
The Cubs have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Troy says, with Old Style out as Wrigley's official beer, if you could choose its replacement, which beer would it be? So Troy obviously wasn't listening to our podcast. What was that? Maybe 3 years ago, where we put our support fully behind Hams.
Yeah, Hams.
That was right around our 100th episode because we drank a lot of Hams on that episode.
Made a tower.
I mean, I've changed my opinion since then. Like, I think it should be
me too.
Keystone Light.
Mhm. I was gonna go with the Beast, Old Milwaukee's best.
I haven't had a Hams in a while. I should go pick up a 12-pack.
Bring $6.
It doesn't cost much to ship it from the land of sky blue waters.
I don't know why we decided to get behind Hams, but
I think it was
Hams was kind of like
a brand.
Hams was kind of like our Chuck Mangione around the century mark. Right around 100 episodes, it was Hams.
Yeah. Well, if I will say, I mean, if I had to answer the question somewhat seriously, I'd drop me a Sierra Nevada in there. It's I like to drink those.
I think it's got to be something cheap though.
But that's what. So I do drink cheap beer once in a while, but I try not to. So hey, yes, that's my pick.
Oh, I think it's got to be cheaper than that.
Not in my Wrigley Field. I mean, cheap beer is $8.50, and the Sierra Nevada would be $9.50.
I don't know. I'm standing behind Hams.
Okay.
Andy.
Gosh, yeah, I would love something like Sierra Nevada, but I know like Goose Island beers are the man now, but I still like those, and
Still good.
so I would be down with some. I mean, they already have 312 with all the vendors and all that anyway, so it's not like it's unavailable, but
yeah,
they're
owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Right? Yeah.
Jamie says, "What's the largest animal you can spark out with one punch?"
Does he mean like put out their life spark?
I have no idea. I have not read some of these ahead of time, and that is one that I had not read ahead of time.
I've never punched an animal, so I can't say from experience.
I've never heard of the term spark out.
Neither have I.
Well, I'm looking it up right now in Urban Dictionary.
Well, I have always maintained that I could kill a mountain lion with my bare hands, and so I'm going to stand by that.
The cougar.
And I know that I could, and I look forward to that opportunity someday. And I know how to do it.
You know how to do it? Wait. I want to hear how you do it. How do you do it, Corey?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so this is how it all started. One time, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, Tawny and I were camping with friends. And we were camping up in the mountains outside of L.A., where they do have stuff like that out there. And we were talking about it, and I said, I know that I could do it, and it would involve their tongue and the eyes and stuff like that. And so then, I'm not joking, like less than a week later, I was looking on Yahoo News, and there was a story about this like 80-year-old dude somewhere in Africa that killed a mountain lion or cougar or something like that with his bare hands, and that's exactly how he did it. He ripped its tongue out and like jabbed it in the eyes, and it ended up dying.
Wow. Yeah,
so,
well, I'm convinced. Corey's gonna spark out a cougar.
He got sparked.
Now, cougar. Got your tongue.
I was at this person's house a couple weekends ago that had a guinea pig. I'm fairly certain I could spark out a guinea pig or a box turtle.
Something slow moving.
Do you think you could spark out one of my chickens?
Oh, I could spark the crap out of one of your chickens.
What if spark doesn't mean what we think it means?
When I looked it up, it does say to knock someone out.
Oh,
Oh, it's just knocking them out, not
I thought,
necessarily.
Yeah.
there for a second I thought spark out meant to like smoke weed or something like that. I thought,
What animal would you smoke weed with?
a chicken, obviously.
The cougar after I ripped his tongue out.
That's right. Okay, moving on. We spent way too much time on JV.
I'd make the tongue the rolling papers.
Joey says, "Who is your favorite prospect?"
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that,
Should we
Joey.
go on like who is going to be our favorite? Like, oh, they're so good, they're our favorite, or like who is it? Like, yeah, I really like that person.
I don't
Yeah,
understand the
either
question.
one. I mean, maybe you can kind of, when you give your answer, qualify it by saying if it's because they're so awesome, or
I would choose. I'll go first. I would choose Chris Bryant because of the sparkle. No, I do. I mean, if we're talking strictly prospects that are still not in Chicago, I would think Bryant, because I think he has potential to be the biggest star, and I think he is gonna be awesome.
I think, yeah, I'll agree with you.
You probably shop at Walmart and eat at McDonald's, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with you. I mean, like I think if I would have to say like who has the potential of being like the biggest star and stuff like that, he's my favorite prospect. But like as a like personality wise, I'm kind of basing this on like the limited experience, like interactions that we've been able to have with prospects. I liked Javier Baez. I thought he was a really nice kid. But I really liked Dan Vogelbach.
Oh man, that's what I was gonna say too.
I mean, he was. I thought he was really nice and seemed like a good kid.
Yeah, just listening to your interview with him made me like him, and seems like he has a good work ethic. He seems like a pretty industrious guy, and he also seems to be fairly grounded while still maintaining,
Right.
appropriate goals. So
Sporting Vogelbach jerseys in a couple years.
Well, he just seemed like genuinely nice. Like it did. Like I don't know. I guess I'll just leave it at that. I was impressed with him.
yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of other choice. I mean, I'm kind of getting pretty interested in following Schwarber and what he does too.
Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, it's good to have lots of options for your favorite prospect. Luis, he says, how many starts does Edwin Jackson get next year? Over under 3.5. We're already starting with our 2015 over under.
Yeah. This does not count towards the contest. I mean, I think probably over, even though I hope that doesn't happen. I want him gone. I think he should be gone, but
No, I don't want him gone. I want him good.
I've given up on good.
You think it's
Because the gone scenario implies the Cubs eating some money, right?
You're right.
I think if a deal gets done, it's like you take our overpaid underperformer for yours.
Yeah, I still want him good.
Yeah.
I take the over on that too.
Yeah, I think I do too.
I mean,
I don't
how's he
know.
going to get 17 losses if he doesn't have more than
Now, I mean, if he's like absolutely terrible in spring training, I could see him breaking camp as a bullpen guy.
Well, and Theo has said in the ticket holder meeting, he did say he has a lot of work to do to earn. I don't know how he said it, to earn a spot on the team. So, yeah, he is, like Andy said earlier, he's a short leash kind of like He's going to have to be really good.
Well, and now that I think about it, like Carlos Villanueva is probably not with the team next year, right? And so
He's free agent. They were
unless they,
looking at trading him.
yeah, and so he could be the long, like the long relief guy out
Right.
of the bullpen.
Spot start kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh says, who would win in a foot race, Doug DeCenzo now or Eric Hinsky in his prime?
I think Eric Hinsky now. I bet you that guy. He calls upon the powers of his ink, and it imbues him with ultra, I don't know, virility and speed.
He's like Bowser in Mario Kart. Once you get him up to full speed, he's unstoppable. Just takes him a while to get there.
I don't know why I said virility like that's gonna come into it.
So you think like long distance, you're going to give it to Hinsky?
Oh, long distance?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Kurt was saying once he picks up speed, he's good.
I say 100-meter dash.
Specify the distance of the foot race.
I say Doug DeCenzo now.
Probably true. What is he, 50, 53, 52, something like that?
Yeah, probably. Okay, Luis has another one here. Who will end their 2014 regular season with more wins, Jake Arrieta or Notre Dame?
Wow.
Well, Arrieta only had 7. No, he had 10.
10.
Shit.
That makes it a little more difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we know what Corey's going to say, so you don't even have to answer.
Well, 10 would be one more loss for Notre Dame.
So
I'm not going to answer.
in order to say Notre Dame, they win out. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. I actually think Notre Dame wins out, so I would go with Notre Dame.
Me too. Andy.
Andy pleads the fifth.
I don't even care to weigh in.
Justin says, will I be able to proudly wear my Cubs shirt next year like I am now proudly wearing my Mississippi State stuff? And then in parentheses, because Mississippi State is #1 in the nation reference. We'll enjoy that for the next couple weeks.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I proudly wear my Cub stuff now. So
Yeah, but I think as
In
the
the
years
same
go
way.
on, starting next year, you're going to be able to wear it even that much more proudly.
right, I don't know if you're going to be able to wear it knowing that they're the #1 team, but
Will he be able to wear it proudly in October?
I don't think so. But I don't know. I guess if you're looking to proudly wear your stuff because they are the best team, you might have to wait another year or two after that.
I love these questions. We end up talking about it for like 10 minutes. Let's just keep going.
I'm really trying. These are 2 straight college football questions, and I'm really trying to not get into a full.
We cannot dig into that. We'll be here till midnight.
Yeah. And the last one here, Tim says, do you think the Cubs will pick up their free agent pitcher and veteran outfielder before or after Thanksgiving?
I kind of think the pitcher could come before Thanksgiving if the Cubs want to kind of strike early and get the guy that they want. I think they can wait a little bit longer maybe on the outfielder, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, when are the owner meetings? Or aren't those in December? Or
The winter meetings?
The winter meetings, yeah, that's what I meant, sorry.
I think they might be November.
I think they're in December. You're probably right, though. I mean, I think we're going to see some movement at those meetings. Maybe that I think we're going to hear more. At least we're going to hear more rumors.
Yeah, they're in December. You're right.
December 8 through 10.
But I kind of like. I'm not gonna. I'm expecting this to take a little while for the Cubs to get the free agents they want. So that's my take on it. So I say before, or I say after Thanksgiving.
All right.
All right.
There you have it.
Any input, guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like I said, I think it'll happen before.
I don't know.
We've really lost steam with these listener
I
questions.
I don't know enough about when guys sign. It's just not coming to me.
All right. Well, let's read some reviews about how much people love this podcast. And they do make us feel so good. Even when our show loses all steam, people still like it. Okay, so here's these reviews, and I play Chuck over this because, I have to say, Philip, after last night's Notre Dame game where I was not feeling so good, Philip tweeted at us and knew that I was not in a good place because of the Notre Dame loss, and tweeted an autograph of Chuck Mangione, and then an Ian Stewart autographed baseball with a package of horsey sauce on top of it. So Philip really kind of, I have to admit, that kind of snapped me out of it a little bit, and I was like, oh man, people are just good. Okay, so here are these reviews. The first one is from, I don't know, JDOGJR. I'm not sure how to say that. So
That's Jim DeShays.
J Dog Jr.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I don't think it's that hard.
Okay, this is from J Dog Jr.
AKA.
JRDOGJR something, I don't know.
Feels so good.
Oh, and because there's music playing, I can't edit any of this out. Okay, so J Dog Jr. says this podcast is one of the best I listen to. These guys are great guys to listen to, and they know a lot about the Cubs, right, Bert?
My last statement was, I don't know.
Right. And the second review comes from Madeline Bennett, and the title is "This podcast is just okay." And then it follows it up with, "In the same way that Baez is just okay." Oh my God! Corbly, Mandy, and Bert. Corbly, Mandy, and Bert offer good beer analysis as well as witty banter. Oh yeah, and they talk about the Cubs too. If you're interested in that kind of thing, keep it up, boys. Oh man, that's somebody finally came through and gave us all three names.
Corbly,
Mandy. I like Mandy. All right, so thanks to JDOGJR and Madeline Bennett for sending these kind reviews in. We do appreciate it. And if you have an iTunes or Stitcher account, you can leave us reviews there, and we'll read them on the show. And these reviews help us quite a bit in the rankings and iTunes and Stitcher. Sorry, I can't stop. And so, yeah, and helping us in the rankings, that means that moves us up higher, and the higher we are, the easier it is for people to find us. So this episode is brought to you by everyone that supports us through our Patreon campaign. A special thanks to Joshua Hansen, Anthony Hutfels, and Matthew Macer, who support us at the associate producer level. And thanks to the other Hall of Fame level contributors, Michael from Colorado, Shane, Tony, Jane, Andrew, Charles, Dallas from Australia, and Jeremy. And we have some new contributors we'd like to thank, Tad and Joseph. We got to hang out with Tad last week. It was fun. And if you enjoy our podcast and you'd like to help us keep it running and fund some things that we'd like to do with the podcast, check out our Patreon campaign. Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter for content producers, and there are lots of pledging levels, and they start as low as $1 a month. And we have perks at the different levels, and the perks get better as they go up. And the IVMV pint glass seems to appeal to people, I think. I think that's enticing. So check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/IVEnvy. That's patreon.com/IVEnvy. So it's time for the internet muscle flexes. and we go to Cubs.com and find the finest in message board culture. And I'm just sticking with that definition. It's easier for me to say. So, Kurt, did you have one? You have a really long one, right?
Really long one.
I'll let you go first. And I actually I kind of had some of those in your thread. I kind of had some of those highlighted.
I think it's important to have all of them because it really it really shows the finest in message board culture. Well, okay, so it starts off with somebody saying something about the Cardinals.
Wait a minute, I have an idea for this.
Okay.
What if? How many different commenters do we have?
I think if one past the first thing, which we don't necessarily need to read, I think it's just two.
So how about you act as one of them, and then either Andy or I will be the other one.
All right, I'm gonna do. I want to do the
first
instigator.
one.
So are you in the doc? Read this.
I am.
Read both of those. These are two different people, but these are in response to someone posting about the Cardinals.
Okay, so I'm reading these two. Sorry.
On the fly. I can't see it. The first two under the main. Yes, read the first two now.
Okay. So the one that starts with an A and the one that starts with a P, I'm reading both of those?
Yeah.
Okay. So person number one says, why don't you just go join their board and kiss their behinds over there? That way you can root for the Cards for the rest of your life and be the happiest troll on earth. And then the second person says, there's nothing sadder than a troll who's not even good at trolling. This one's so completely devoid of any intelligence, it's more funny than anything else.
All right, so then in comes the instigator. It says, brilliant response. Such genius. Just plain utter brilliance. Really, I mean that. You should work for NASA. I hope Theo tossed you 2 nickels for that gem.
Okay, and then my person says, see? So very, very sad.
Oh man, another brilliant response. How do you think of them? How long does it take you to come up with them? I can't even imagine. Seriously, someone get Obama on the line. He needs to hear of this guy. Comebacks like that, you just never see them. Outside of the 5th grade, I mean.
My lines are considerably better than 5th grade, which you'll find out for yourself once you actually get there.
I'm actually impressed you managed to make a post that wasn't essentially, wow, nice comeback. Ha, JK. It was a bad comeback. I win. Minus 10 points. We're basically using the exact same premise I used, though overall I give you an F rating, so you're improving.
I like that one because he assigned negative 10 points.
This is pure drivel on the message board.
And then somebody
in the comments.
the thread responds after that and says something like, we're going to be good next year.
Northwestern scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's such a disjointed experience reading through the comments too, because you have people like trolling each other, then all of a sudden something totally unrelated, then something about Addison Russell, Oh my gosh.
Somebody's calling Obama.
Right. If Ricketts aren't trying to kill Obama, then somebody's on the phone with him trying to tell him about a message board comment. Oh man. Okay. And that was, for anybody new listening, that was a callback to a previous comment. Okay. Anyways. Okay. So here's mine. I'm so sick of of Theo thugs and the other foaming at the mouth fans who claim we're some kind of juggernaut. That SAR Zero and his bungling band of clueless clowns are geniuses. That we should play in a museum of pain, torment, failure, and losing, and that our greedy owner could care less about the product he puts on the field. The evidence states otherwise. Now get off here, loser, and take all these dim-witted rah-rahs with you.
That person just has that on copy paste. Like,
I know.
I'm good. I got it. Bam.
You can find that comment basically everywhere. But I thought that's
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of felt like that.
One, you're happy. Boom. Rah rah.
I just thought that like kind of was very representative of what that message board is like, or that those comments are like.
Yes. Oh man, I love the alliteration too with the
Right. The bungling band of clueless clowns. All right. Well, message boards. Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode. We're not sure how these next few weeks are going to look with how we release the episodes, but you'll get at least one in the next 2 weeks, potentially two. So if you don't hear from us for a week, don't assume that we've quit. Thank you for listening, and thanks to those of you. I'm going to start this over because I
the whole thing from the beginning.
yeah, let's roll it from the top, guys. Okay, let me start that over. Well, thanks to crap. Thanks to Andy and Kurt for joining me this week.
Via technology.
Okay, one more time. Well, thanks for listening to this week's episode, and we're not sure how these next few weeks are going to look as far as releasing episodes, but you'll get one in the next 2 Sundays, potentially 2. So if you don't hear from us for a week, don't assume that we've quit. Thank you for listening, and thanks to those of you that showed up to watch us live tonight. And until next time, go Cubs. All right.
All right.
All right.
Kurt, guess what beer I have right now? I mean, that's a ridiculous question, but
one of the 6,000 beers on my Untapped am I drinking? I was just gonna pull up your Untapped.
it's Gumball Head from Three Floyds.
What is? I've never had that.
Oh man, it's good.
What? I mean, I like Three Floyds a lot.
Yeah.
What is it? What kind of beer is it?
It's an American pale wheat ale. So it doesn't really taste like a wheat beer that much at all. It kind of tastes more like a pale ale with a twist. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Let's try it. Did you get it at Hy-Vee?
No, up in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, we went to this liquor store called Trollway Liquors, and we go in there, and this guy's playing the banjo behind the counter.
Oh, yeah, that's that place.
And he has this dog like behind the counter too. And then I start talking to him, and he gets to like telling me about some of the rare stuff he has in the back, and he like brings some of this rare stuff out for me, or kind of like stuff that's hard to find, not necessarily super rare, but so he brought me out some of that Gumball from Three Floyds. It's pretty cool.
You got some New Glarus too?
Yeah, I got an Oud Bruin from them, which he was saying I should try to age.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think some of their specialty beers are the best because their main stuff is really good. It's really well brewed, but like it's not the greatest beer. Like a really well done lager isn't gonna blow your mind.
Right. Yeah, because Spotted Cow is good, but
it's hard to make that beer good, but it's just like, it's not
done well.
Shattering. Yeah.
But the Moon Man, I just had that, and that's pretty good. It's pretty light tasting, but
most of their main releases are fairly light tasting.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna bail.
Okay.
I'm gonna get this thing edited. I have a few more edits this week, so. All right. See you later.
Later. See ya.
Bye.